You got that scrap on you. What up, so?
Alright, I'ma fuck with you.
Alright, bro.
Ai aipim, uiami, a batata é uma puta barata. Deixa ela prona, buna, baba que baba de bobo. Transa uma com a cebola, aquele hálito que hábito me fecha. Ai aipim, uiami, a batata é uma puta barata. Deixa ela prona, buna, baba que baba de bobo. Transa uma com a cebola, aquele hálito que hábito me fecha.
Dyeing that beard than Diddy wear.
All right, that's enough.
I know.
That's enough.
I seen him. He shows me behind the curtain.
That's a fucking enough. All right, I'm gonna edit. I'm gonna edit this out.
But still,
Put a fucking.
put a note on it. You can edit that one. I don't.
Stupid little boys, you know, the disobedient ones what play hooky from school. And you see, and I takes them to Pleasure Island.
Ah, Pleasure Island.
Pleasure Island? But the law, suppose they... No, there's no. It's... They never come back. As boys.
Israel has a thriving Christian community, the only thriving Christian community in the broad radius of the Middle East, where Christians are not tolerated, they're cherished. You can light Christmas trees in Nazareth. But in Bethlehem, the birthplace of Jesus, when Israel left and the Palestinian Authority came in, the Christian majority shrank from 80% to under 20% because there was no more Israel to protect them. We cherish our Christian friends.
You know, my opinion generally is that some figures in the Trump administration were kind of chosen as a PR move and that they're not actually in charge of what they're nominally in charge of. So like Pete Hegseth, head of the Pentagon, he's kind of a Fox and Friends, you know, he's a TV show host. And the deputy director of the Pentagon, Steve Feinberg of Cerberus Capital, is most likely the person actually running the Pentagon, not Hegseth, in my opinion. And I think that's true also for RFK Jr. in charge of HHS. I don't really...
Their big guy was Lou Elizondo, and then Lou Elizondo branched off of that, and he came out. They promoted him as like this was the guy. He ran the Pentagon's UFO program, you know. And you look into Elizondo's background, and it's like, this guy didn't run the program, bro. This guy was a torture czar at Guantanamo Bay. For Christ's sake, he ran the RDI program. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed accused the guy of being the person responsible for torturing his son in front of him. He basically electrocuted Khalid Sheikh Mohammed's son's testicles in front of him until he admitted to doing 9/11.
Stuck in traffic. I'm remembering right now. Wow. I'm wrong a lot. We don't like to say it. We don't like to admit it. We really don't like to correct it. But that is how you grow and you get to a better place. And it is such a precious commodity right now. I've been wrong. I've been wrong about political issues. I've been wrong about people. I've been wrong about myself. I've been wrong about my responsibilities. I've been wrong about my opinions, my tastes, my choices. I've been wrong. And that's okay. Hopefully you learn. Hopefully when you're wrong, you get to a better place if you do the work, unless you stubbornly hold on. And that's where so much of us are stuck. It's not just being wrong. It's refusing to learn what's right. I've been wrong. Have you been wrong? If you say no, you're wrong.
And Palestinians dropping on the side of the road. So Amir didn't make it home. He walked 12 kilometers to get some food, picked up scraps off the ground. That's all that was left because the 8-minute mayhem took all of the food. And by the time he got there, walking with no shoes, hungry and tired, the only thing left for him was to pick up some remnants off the ground. And when he left, he was killed by the IDF. Why? Because they lack discipline, they lack standards, and they lack basic human decency.
It's cultural swine, bitch. Now where's the blow?
Yo. Cultural Swine Podcast, solo cast, once again. And, yeah, I had an eventful, my weekend was quite eventful. Obviously drank way too much. I need to stop with the G&Ts because I wake up every morning after those and I know what it feels like to be Stephen Hawking. I know exactly what that man must feel like. Every time I wake up when I'm violently hungover, I feel like Stephen Hawking. The only thing I'm missing is a couple of black midgets and Epstein's Island, and I'd be exactly like him. But, yeah, back again with another pod. I think it's been a couple weeks. I don't think I recorded last week. But we got some Budweiser, and I don't know. I don't have many stories, but there's been some interesting shit in the news, I guess. I was listening to Tim Dillon's podcast. He was talking about how women with dead children are now strolling around silicone babies that are lifelike around the store to feel like they still have their kid. And I don't know what to say about that. It's kind of pathetic. It's kind of weird. I mean, just think about that. You see this woman strolling around Whole Foods, and she's got the blanket over the kid, so you don't really know. So you just kind of assume, oh, that's a mom. That's a mother. That's definitely a real kid under that blanket in the stroller she is strolling around Whole Foods. And you come to find out later that when you're watching the Tim Dillon show that there's actually moms that have lost kids in tragic events. I'm not trying to shit on that. But there's now moms that have lost their kids strolling around Whole Foods with a silicone baby under the blanket in the stroller that you thought was a real fucking kid. And I don't even know what to think about this. I think you even have younger women that are just collecting the dolls for fun. And I don't know what these dolls are. We can look them up real quick. So let's go silicone baby dolls. And yeah, realistic. Let's go to images. And oh my god, yeah, these look real as fuck. There's almost creepy. And you can get any color, it looks like, and full body baby silicone. Oh my god, yeah, so these things look fucking real as fuck. And almost too real. It's really weird. And, I feel for all the people that have lost kids, but that's kind of a problem, don't you think? We're already in a birth rate decline, a significant one, one that could quite honestly wipe us off the earth, one that could honestly end in another race breeding our country's race out. I'm not trying to be a nationalist, I'm just saying. People get outbred all the time. It's a type of warfare. Eat my dick if you're pissed about that. So yeah, I don't know. Let's go on X real quick because I want to see if we can. There's a video that Tim Dillon was watching that I did not see of a girl giving a review on one of her new silicone baby dolls, and I think she had a collection of them, and she sounded like a young woman. And it's like, why don't you just go have your own fucking kid? She's like, I love this baby so much. Her name's Naomi. I love her so fucking much. And it's like, but no one loves you enough to put a baby in you. And that's why you have a collection of silicone baby dolls. You fucking freak. All right, so let's go. We'll do silicone. I shouldn't say silicone. Silicone baby dolls. Nope. Okay, no. Okay, so if you search that on Twitter, all you're going to get is porn. So don't search silicone baby dolls on Twitter, because all you're going to get is anime porn and dildos. I might have to buy one of those dildos though and go to a WNBA game, throw one right in the middle of the court and say, here you go. This is the only pleasure you guys are going to get, because you get no pleasure from making any shots, because no shots are going in. And you guys want to get paid millions and millions of dollars. Great. Caitlin Clark's the best player, and she's white. That sucks for everyone else in the league. But yeah, this is full. Let me go. Let's see if we can find videos online that's not, anime porn about these baby silicone dolls. New silicone baby girl box opening. Joanna K. Silicone baby. Silicone baby Mimi's first time swimming. Changing full body silicone baby doll Mercedes. Amazing silicone baby box opening. Super realistic. All right, let's watch this first one. God, is there a shorter video? Come on. Bath routines. This is fucking psychotic. Let's go. Well, we'll just watch this first 2 minutes of this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with a box opening and I am so excited for this baby. So in this box is a full body silicone and I have just been so excited for this doll. I've known that I was getting her for a couple months now and it was a custom order from an artist that I absolutely love.
Okay, let's
probably the past 2 years, every single time she's put out a silicone edition, I try and get one and get a custom, and it's always sold out in seconds. It's crazy. So I was shocked that I was finally able to get one. I was so shocked.
I'm so shocked I was able to get a kid because I'm so infertile right now because I got 3 boosters last week.
Before, but I never got one directly from her. It was all secondhand. This was my first time getting one as a custom directly from Joanna.
Because I can't have babies because I'm still infertile from the 3 boosters I got and all the microplastics in my shit food I eat because I'm vegetarian.
Joanna K Originals. That's so cool. And Joanna, I got to meet her last year at the Dolls of the World.
Okay, let's see the fucking doll, please. Alright, here we go.
The legs are. Oh my goodness. Okay, you guys, I'm so excited. Chicks on it. I love that. Oh my god, the way her arms just flopped out. I opted not to have an armature in her because I fell in love with Joanna's prototype, artist-proof version of this baby. And when she asked me if I wanted an armature, I was like, does your prototype one have it? Because I love the movement. And she said no. So I said, okay, don't put one in here. Oh my goodness. Oh, she's so warm. She's been on the truck. 3-month outfits that I was like, maybe she could wear these, but definitely not. She's so tiny. Oh, so little.
These things look fucking real as fuck. This is absurd. They have tongues, teeth, eyeballs. Their skin looks real. It's silicone. They probably got listening devices in them from fucking probably, I want to say China because that's the old joke, but probably Israel. Okay, so, if you want to go watch that, go look up silicone baby unwrapping or whatever, new doll. But that's just craziness to me that a girl of fertile age, of the best age you can be at to have kids, the most fertile you're ever going to be, unwrapping a fucking silicone life-size doll that should be for, young girls and baby girls to play with. Now she has a collection of them. And I don't know why she doesn't just have her own kids. It's probably because no one wants to fuck someone with the type of personality that would buy a silicone baby doll. That's probably the first reason. Second reason, she might be a dumb retard progressive that just doesn't want to have kids, because who would bring a kid into this world? It's so fucked up. So fucked up. Well, give me your iPhone. It's made from a slave. No, I need that, asshole. Okay, cool. Fuck off. So that's probably the second reason. Third reason is probably because all of these women now are infertile because they're vegetarian, microplastic eating retards who also like to get boosted up every now and then, which might have a little say in their fertility in the future. So that's the third reason. If I can think of any more, I'll bring them up as we go. But it comes down to an unfuckable retard progressive who wants to keep the birth rate down because this world sucks, and also is someone who's boosted up to the max that probably lost their fertility a long time ago in 2020 when they did that whole Operation Warp Speed. President Trump did Operation Warp Speed, which he still praises as if it was a good thing. Like, what the fuck? This guy's up here like, Operation Warp Speed. It was an amazing process. We did great with that. It's like, yeah, you did. Did great with depopulation. That was a good one. You guys got us there. 1-0 you guys. And let's see if I can find him saying that so I'm not just spewing out headlines, but I don't know. I mean, has Trump really done anything good this presidency? Did anyone actually want that fucking retard in? I know everyone was so excited. I tried to say this guy's a fucking retard, but nope. He's gonna release the Jeffrey Epstein files. Cat turd. He's gonna release the Jeffrey Epstein files. Imagine your best fucking Twitter follower is named Cat turd. But yeah, he hasn't done one thing that he and his administration said they were going to do. Obviously, scam Bondi, Dan Faggot Bongino. I mean, come on. Scam Bondi. Wasn't it weird that the other day when she gave that White House briefing, I think it was on the Epstein files, she didn't wear her cross necklace that she is wearing during every single briefing that she does at the White House? It's almost like you can't wear that cross when you're about to spew out lies because that's against what you believe in. So you had to take it off, Scam Bondi. That was weird as fuck. She wears that cross necklace every single time. Every single time she gives a briefing or, she spews out some comedy bit that never turns out to be true. She's always wearing that cross necklace. And she gave a briefing the other day in which she wasn't wearing it. And, well, probably because it's against it's against Christ and Christianity to lie, probably while wearing something representing the religion, which would be her necklace. But let's go one thing at a time. So let's go Warp Speed. We'll look up Operation Warp Speed on X and see what we get. All right, so this was August 2nd, 2025. So this was literally 9 days ago. Trump brags about Operation Warp Speed to this day. Now he's pushing for mRNA vaccines from AI companies with the Stargate project. And that's with all the AI fucking freaks like the incestuous rapist Sam Altman and then the CIA agent Larry Ellison from Oracle. Trump sells out to the elites every time. All right. There's no video of it, though. No. All right, well, I mean, this is this Twitter page called the White House 45 Archived. This was May 15th in 2020, so I don't want to bring that back up. We all know he thinks that Warp Speed was akin to the Manhattan Project, but he's never rescinded, giving that the green light, which is really weird. This was 4 days ago from the Twitter page Cryptid Politics, and he said I'm with Governor Ron DeSantis on this one. Operation Warp Speed was terrible and resulted in numerous lives lost and injuries. I guess no. Okay, so hold on, I found it. Okay, I got to go to Disclose TV on X. All right, Disclose TV, I think, posted this with Trump talking about warp speed. So let's see if we can find this. Come on, come on. Give me a second. Give me a second. All right. All right, here we go. So this is from Disclose TV on X. Now, Trump on Operation Warp Speed, one of the most incredible things ever done in this country. Everything about it has been amazing.
For research, you were the driving force behind Operation Warp Speed, these mRNA vaccines that are the gold standard. Right. Now your health secretary is pulling back all the funding for research. He's saying that the risks outweigh the benefits, which puts him at odds with
Research
the entire medical community and with you. What is going on?
Research on what?
Into mRNA vaccines.
Well, we're going to look at that. We're talking about it, and they're doing a very good job. And, you know, that is a pass. With Operation Warp Speed was, whether you're Republican or Democrat, considered one of the most incredible things ever done in this country. The efficiency, the way it was done, the distribution, everything about it has been amazing. But, you know, that was now a long time ago, and we're on to other things. But we are speaking about it. We have meetings about it in tomorrow at 12 o'clock, and we'll determine. We're looking for other answers to other problems, to other sicknesses and diseases.
And they're trying to find a vaccine now for anti-Semitism. That's what he's talking about. I think the other sickness that they're trying to research at the moment, I think, is anti-Semitism, because it's running rampant in this country right now. But yeah, so there's the president that we all voted for, right? I didn't, but a lot of people did because they thought he was the Messiah, the right answer, when the retard has just lied and lied and lied. But he's never lied about Operation Warp Speed. He's always praised himself, literally, for that operation, for rolling out the vaccines with no research, with no data, onto his own people, killing untold amounts of people, and it's still happening. We don't know what the full consequence of Operation Warp Speed is actually going to be. So that's President Trump right there, still praising to this day Operation Warp Speed, releasing an untested vaccine, experimental medicine, onto his own population. But, you know, America first, right? America first, right? You know who else tested the vaccine on their own population? That faggot, Bibi Netanyahu. So, good job. Just mirroring whatever Netanyahu does at this point. I mean, who knows what he did on camera with little kids, because you don't act like this unless if you weren't doing something on camera that they caught you for, you wouldn't be acting like a little bitch. But Operation Warp Speed was probably the worst thing that ever happened during his presidency. He was doing all the right things. That was the one thing that everyone was like, hey, hold on. That's the one thing where his base started going, hold on, why are you doing this? And he never apologized. He still praises Operation Warp Speed to this day. He still thinks it's a good thing. And, I mean, his base was kind of looking at that, and they were a little iffy about that. And now his whole base is turning on him because of the Epstein shit. So, I mean, what do you even do there? The Epstein shit. I mean, I know I've been a broken record with this shit, but I'm not going to let it go. I'm just not going to let it go. You're not going to sit here and do the biggest cover up on one of the most notorious pedophiles of all time and just kind of get away with it. Especially when you were voted in to uncover it and be transparent about what actually happened with that whole situation. Just not going to shut up about it ever. I don't think anyone is. You have people that weren't even really involved in politics before, now trying to come out and speak out about this and getting political about it because this is a real issue that they're trying to cover up. a massive cover up. You have Kash Patel going cross-eyed on Rogan because he's lying his fucking ass off. And his Mossad agent wife, who's a country singer, really weird, is, denying all those claims. But just look into her background. So yeah, fuck Operation Warp Speed. And Trump's still praising it to this day. On another note, I listened to some other podcasts this weekend that were quite good. I don't think I gave Nicholas Fuentes the due that he deserved. I know a lot of people think he's just a little test tube faggot baby. And, that's all right. He'll admit that. He's a test tube baby. He's a little weird because of that. But honestly, when you listen to him speak during long periods of time, 2 to 3 hours, he starts to make a lot of sense. And he's not saying anything wrong. He's just kind of hyperbolic and honestly really smart motherfucker. And he was on the Sam Hyde show, who I've just been watching a whole bunch of. MDE, $1,000,000extreme.tv. Go watch them. Sam Hyde, Nick Rochefort, all of them, all those guys that got canceled from Adult Swim. They're doing big things now, funny things too, amazing things. All content creators should go look at what they're doing and try to do something similar. They're making more money than ever. They're more popular than ever. So shout out the MDE TV guys. But Sam Hyde had Nick Fuentes on, I think on Saturday on his show, his podcast, the Sam Hyde Show. And honestly, I fucking listened to Nick Fuentes and Sam Hyde talk for 2 hours, and I kind of fuck with Nick Fuentes. I'm not going to lie. Candace Owens is kind of, I don't know why her and Tucker came at him so fucking hard unless what he was saying about them was true, which which everyone should know at this point. Tucker's dad was CIA. Tucker tried to get into the CIA. That was his first application, I think. Who knows if he is in the CIA? Maybe, maybe not. But we do know that his dad was in the CIA. That was one thing that Nick Fuentes brought up that Tucker didn't like. Also, he just calls Candace like a sassy black DEI hire, which honestly, at the end of the day, she's like, if you look at it, when she got hired by the Daily Wire, she was the ultimate DEI hire. She was a black conservative woman in the conservative talking space. It's hilarious. It actually is a DEI hire if you think about it. It's not the liberal woke DEI hire, but it is a conservative DEI hire, black conservative woman. So it's a funny joke. But I think Candace also had Nick Fuentes on her show, which I think she just yapped a whole bunch. That's what I heard. And kind of just trying to put him in his place, but I don't think she did. Tucker, they kind of came back on their statements about him. I think because what he's saying is true, and people started looking into it, and they're like, "Oh, what's he saying that's false?" So, to get back to the Sam Hyde show, I think he had a lot of good things to say. I mean, he'll run down the whole Israel-Palestine, Israel-Iran conflicts for everyone that listens, and he'll explain it to you, not like you're retarded, but he'll explain it to you so that a fifth grader can understand it, which means that if you go listen to it, you'll understand the problems and the conflicts going on in the Middle East right now, and how the U.S. is involved, like deeply involved. And Epstein's tied to this, Netanyahu. It's all tied to this bullshit that essentially comes down to sexual blackmail on many, many influential people within the U.S. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really want to run down this whole Middle Eastern conflict, but I will say that I've said it before on previous episodes. Iran's the last fucking country that's opposing Israel, that is like against Israel in the Middle East. Egypt, Saudi Arabia, a lot of those countries, they've been pro-Israel for a while now. And all the other ones that we've already, upended, dismantled, and done regime changes in, we have control of those countries. The last country in the Middle East that is opposing Israel, like opposing them to the point where they will go to war if they have to, is Iran. So it's like the last piece of the puzzle, right? And well, that's why you're seeing what's happening right now. And then the Palestine conflict, that's just a land grab. Israel's going to take that land and they're going to make it theirs. They decimated it, and now they're already moving Israelis into those places. Fucked up. But that's all I really want to say about that. I thought it was interesting what Nick Fuentes had to say about marriage and that whole topic and starting a family and that, that traditional view of being American and like the American dream, which is what, owning a house, making money, saying what you want to say, and starting a family, right? And he had an interesting view, and one that like I've never kind of supported, but now that he explained it, I'm like, oh, kind of makes sense. So basically what he said was he doesn't care to get married or have children. That's not a priority of his. He thinks honestly doing that is an easier way to become compromised. Because if you're a man that can't be bought, if you're a man that can't be compromised, well, the next easiest person or people to go to compromise that man would be the people closest to him, the people that he loves, his family, his kids, his wife, etc., right? So he's like, right now, I'm just letting it fly. I'm just letting my life go wherever it goes, whether it is into a marriage and a family or whether it's not. But I'm not trying to have a family and become married at the moment. That's not a goal of mine because I think, this is his quote, I can become compromised much easier. I'm not someone that can be bought, but they could go to those people that I love and compromise them, which could compromise me. And I was like, damn, that's like some 4D chess thinking. And I was like, I kind of agree with you. I kind of agree with that. Not saying that that's the path I want to take, but I'm like, fuck, that's something to think about for sure. For sure. I mean, it makes sense at the end of the day. And, everyone wants to say it's based to, start a family really young and have kids really young and buy the property really young and do that whole American dream thing really young, right? That's the base thing to do. But it really isn't based. Not if you're trying to do what he's doing, which is calling out the truth and being someone that can't be compromised or bought, which is only good for the people of America. And another thing that was said during that podcast when speaking about this topic was, well, when you don't have that family and that wife that you're kind of now obligated to fully support and always, you're kind of compromised in a way when you have the family and kids. And when you don't have that, then what are you married to? Well, when you can't be bought, you're kind of married to the truth at that point. And so you're not really going to lie because there's no reason to lie at that point. It's just you. So I don't know. I thought that was really interesting. And that's not to say that he's not going to settle down at one point and have a wife and have kids. It's just not his priority right now, given what he's doing and given the path that his life has kind of taken at the moment. It doesn't call for a wife and kids right now. It calls for calling out the truth and calling out the bullshit that's happening within the country. And honestly, it could be an obstacle to have a family at this point because that can compromise you right away. If they can't compromise you, like I said, they will compromise the people closest to you. So he kind of shifted my view on that. Don't take anything too fast. Just kind of let it ride. And he's a deeply faithful person, he said. He has nothing against marriage and having kids. He just wants to let the path that his life is taking ride out without forcing anything that might be an obstacle to what he's doing right now. So, I don't know. I thought it was interesting. I'll give him that. They also talked about, atheism and, that whole sect of people, right? Because they're great people. My views on atheism, I think it's a mental illness. I think atheism is akin to nihilism, cynicism, and at the end of the day, I think it's akin to a mental illness. Like, these are the worst people you could hang out with at a fucking bar. You're talking to an atheist and like, oh, it's black when we die. They're always depressed. They're never looking forward to anything because they think the only thing that constitutes reality is what we're living right now. There's no other realms of reality that we might not be able to tune into at the moment, which I think is completely false, but who really knows, right? No one has the answer. But to hang out with these people, they're always just down and gloomy and everything's doomed, and they're depressing people, worst people to party with, worst people to be friends with. You will be depressed within 6 months if you befriend an atheist and hang out with them more than twice a week. So that's what I think about atheism. I think it's a mental illness. I think it's gross. I don't like hanging out with them, especially when I'm partying. And I think, honestly, the reason I think it's a mental illness is because I think they're terrified to die. If you don't believe in a realm after our biological life, which would be heaven, right? In the Christianity view, or whatever that realm is to whoever is thinking about it, then if you don't believe in that, you just believe it's black when we die, then you think this life, this consciousness we're living now is the only thing that constitutes reality. So this is it. So lay it all on the table, because after this, it's nothing. It's blackness. And that's just setting yourself up to be scared to die. And you're going to hate life here. Now, if you believe in an afterlife, a realm that's akin to heaven, right? Well, you know there's something waiting for you at the end of this life. So live this life to the fullest. Have no regrets. Have fun. Just lay it all on the table, because something better is waiting for you after this. That's the way to live. Not, oh, it's black when we die. That's gay. That's called being gay. And if you get that touch, stay 6 feet away from me. Put your mask on. Stay inside until you're done quarantining, because I do not want that touch. That's the gay touch. So, those are my thoughts on atheism. I don't like it. I mean, they think they're right all the time. You have the Sam Harrises of the world who are just trust fund babies that think it's fucking edgy to talk about atheism and be an atheist. When at the end of the day, it's more of a religion than fucking any other religion out there. 100%. All religion is ritual, and their ritual is believing that there's no God. It was just all evolution. We came from fucking rocks. And we were just in this primordial soup in some random way. Humans got created from fucking rocks. It's comical to think about. Really is. But I like to think that maybe there was a creator. I don't know, because you kind of just look at everything. Everything that's created in this world that's natural looks like it has a purpose for why it was created, right? Like you look at, just think about what we create, a car, right? You look at it, it's like, okay, that thing has a purpose. It's from going from point A to point B. So yeah, there was a creator behind that because there's a purpose of this creation. When you look at us, we're just random with no purpose. It's meaningless. This is the atheism view. This is how you become depressed. It's just worthless and meaningless. We were random I can't even say creations. We were random manifestations of the world at the perfect time because a lightning struck a primordial soup in the ocean and it was warm enough to create fucking biological beings and dinosaurs. Oh my God, dinosaurs, right? But yeah, that's my thoughts on atheism. They talked about that a little bit too. Like I said, Nick Fuentes is a pretty faithful guy, so I kind of agree with him on those aspects as well. It was kind of hard not to like this guy, honestly. I like the guy. He might be a little hyperbolic, that when Trump got elected, who he didn't even vote for, he tweeted, "Your body, my choice." That's fucking hilarious. Your body, my choice. As if he meant it. Okay, guys, it's funny. I don't even think that's like the worst thing he's ever said. I think it might be one of the funniest things for sure. It's hilarious. And that resulted in someone trying to murder the guy, trying to assassinate him. And he also went over that whole story on the Sam Hyde show, and I did not know the whole story. It's fucking wild. So basically, after the election, he tweets that your body, my choice, right? And he's just having people for months just, come by his house, screaming outside his house, taking pictures of his house and DMing him like, hey, I'm outside your house right now, motherfucker. And this would happen for months after the election because he got doxxed. After he tweeted your body, my choice, people started posting his address, where he lived, where his parents lived, blah, blah, blah. And this would, he'd get harassed and trolled for months. And he thought nothing of it. He thought it was harmless. He didn't call the cops. He didn't make a scene about it. He just kind of said, well, this is the consequence of me trying to be funny. And I guess a couple months went by, enough time where nothing had happened. So he stopped kind of thinking about it. He's like, all right, this is finally passed. And he was recording one day at his house. And he heard knocking on the door. So, and he was like, hey, Nick. And he heard that, but he was still recording and finishing up an episode. And he looks at the Ring camera and he sees a guy with a motorcycle helmet on. And he has a gun. He's crossing his hands over his legs, and he has a gun in his hand. And he also has a crossbow hanging from his back. And so he's like, okay, this is a little weird. And he finishes up the show, and his producer comes out, and he's like, hey, I called the cops. This is kind of a situation. They're here already. And he hears the guy jump over the backyard fence of his neighbor's house, run into the neighbor's house. Boom, boom. He hears 4 gunshots go off, kills the neighbor's dogs that were trying to, scare his ass away out of the house, shoots his neighbor's dogs, runs back out, starts shooting at the cops, and gets fucking dotted in the head. Killed in the head. Okay? That's already a crazy situation. But what happened before is even weirder. So before he came to kill Nick Fuentes, he lived 2 hours away, 2 hours outside of Chicago where Nick was. And before, I guess, he had a falling out with his old roommate at college. I forgot what college this kid went to. But there were rumors that maybe him and this roommate were dating and they were secretly gay and butt fucking each other, which could very likely be what happened. There was also rumors that they were dealing drugs together and something went awry. And then there was the last rumor that they just had a falling out as friends that were living together. Who knows? But that falling out resulted in the shooter getting his ass beat by his roommate and basically kicked out of the house they were living in. And so about 2 hours before he shows up at Nick Fuentes' house, he went to his old roommate's house, waited outside of the house, which also his roommate's mom and sister were also living at. And what's even weirder is the sister tweeted before what happened that she's like, I don't want to be a Karen right now, but there's a guy in a motorcycle helmet just sitting outside of our house, and it's kind of fucking weird. And I'm kind of sketched out about it. So, but she didn't call the cops. She's like, I don't want to be a Karen because, we stigmatized, protecting yourself as calling yourself Karen. She never called the cops. Well, his old roommate gets home. He kills his roommate in the car before he goes inside, and then kills the roommate's sister and mom in the garage when they come outside. So he kills that whole family and then drives to Chicago and tries to kill Nick Fuentes. And they think he was trying to be some copycat of Luigi Mangione with the motorcycle helmet and whatnot. And to give this killing spree a purpose, right? Kill Nick Fuentes because he tweeted your body, my choice. And well, that resulted in him getting headshotted. But not before he killed a whole ass family before. And so that was the whole story with the Nick Fuentes wannabe assassin, which is just absurd to think about. I thought the guy just showed up and was like, I'm going to try to kill Nick Fuentes, and got his ass busted. But he fucking killed a whole ass family for who knows what reason, because he got his ass beat. And then he tried to become a martyr by killing Nick Fuentes, but ended up getting headshotted himself. What a story. And I just wanted to share that because I had no clue that's what happened, right? You can't even tweet a fucking funny joke without someone maybe pulling up to your house and saying, "Hey, Nick, come outside. Nick, I just fucking murdered a whole family. Come outside. I'm Luigi." Fucking faggot. Got what he deserved. All because he probably was secretly butt fucking his old roommate. But yeah, that's an old Nick Fuentes story. Let's see. Let's see what's on Twitter today. Oh, actually, you know what? I have something that I was going to share. This clip. So here, we'll play it now. So this, something going down in the UFO community at the moment. So we should investigate that. So this lady, did I fucking save this? I don't think I did. This is hilarious. Before I go into this UFO stuff, oh, we should talk about Alex Stein as well. Yeah, so hold on. This is hilarious about the WNBA. So, breaking, 18-year-old Caden Lopez has been arrested for throwing the dildo at WNBA star Sophie Cunningham at last night's WNBA game. He has been charged with assault and disorderly conduct. Someone commented on the tweet and goes, "Bro got arrested for being the most accurate shooter at a WNBA game." All right, let's listen.
Fan, so welcome. Introduce yourself. Go ahead.
All right, so Alex Stein, who is also of the group, he's not with MDE, I don't think, $1 Million Extreme, Sam Hyde, and all of them, but he does do work with them. He collaborates with them, and he testified in front of the Senate Committee on State Affairs, I think in Austin, Texas, about trannies using the bathroom, and this was his basically testimony.
Welcome. Introduce yourself. Go ahead.
My name's Alex Stein. I'm considered one of the sexiest men in conservative politics. And one thing I want to say, a lot of people are going to hear my testimony and you're going to say you're anti-LGBTQ. I want to say that's impossible because I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. So obviously I have a lot of gay pride. But, you know, a lot of conservatives like yourself, you want to outlaw transgenders and women's sports. I disagree. I like transgenders and women's sports because you can gamble on them and win money. You know, I won so much money on Leah Thomas's propeller in that pool. I almost turned DraftKings, into Draft Queens. And, you know, I actually like transgenders in the military, too, because, first of all, transgenders are some of the meanest people on planet Earth. So they make a good soldier, don't you think? And then, you know, second of all, transgenders love to do mass shootings. So, you know, that's perfect for a military veteran. And then on top of that, the suicide rate is incredibly high among transgender people. So we could just use them like the Taliban has suicide bombers. Maybe you guys can actually, you know, if you commit suicide, actually help us in the battlefield. So that would be good. So I think we need transgenders in the military and women's sports. Now, when we come to the bathroom bill, though, this is an asymmetrical problem because, first of all, no dude cares if, like, a bisexual woman comes in there and tries to use, like, a pee funnel. You know, some lady boy comes in there, some, you know, stud comes in there, wants to pee in the urinal. No guy's going to be threatened by, you know, a trans woman. But we don't want these gargoyles in a dress, you know, some chick with a dick coming in there and trying to pee or poop next to my girlfriend because that's disgusting. And, well, I was going to say something. Listen, I have my First Amendment right. Let me just speak. So we're sick of these transgenders trying to invade women's personal spaces. These people have autogynephilia. They're sexual perverts, and they actually get satisfaction from going there and looking under a stall. So these are mentally ill people that are on hormones, that are on all kinds of pills. They're impulsive, and they do not belong in a women's restroom. So if some of you lesbians want to come in and pee next to me, you're more than welcome. So we just don't let the chicks with dicks in the women's room, and you guys are all welcome in the men's room. I think that works.
I'll turn DraftKings into Draft Queens. That is fucking hilarious. And look at how fucking upset they get over that. Look how upset the freaks, the ones that want to change in front of young women and just women in general, 40, 50-year-old dudes wearing a fucking tutu with a fucking beard and a beer belly wanting to change with fucking women. Freaks. Honestly, I don't even think it's enough just to outlaw that. We should just say, hey, we really have no use for you as human beings. You're really just worthless. And they should just be dealt with accordingly, if you get what I'm saying. But yeah, that's fucking hilarious, dude. That is one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. Alex Stein gets up in front of the Senate committee and just goes on a bit and just rips. What a bit. I will turn draft kings into draft queens. That is a fucking banger. I made so much money betting on Leah Thomas's propeller in the water. Come on, let's go. That's hilarious. I love that. Oh my God. I think they'd be great for the military. A lot of trannies kill themselves. So just like they use kamikazes and suicide bombers, we could use them like that. Let's go. Oh my God. What else? Oh yeah. Oh, we could also use trannies in the military because they like to create mass shootings. So I think that'd be good for a veteran. Alex Stein, that's a baller fucking bit right there, my guy. I love that. I love that we still have people like that. And I love that he started it off with, yeah, I'm Alex Stein and I'm voted as one of the most attractive people in conservative politics. Oh, man, that is just, how could you not enjoy something like that? How could you actually be how could someone even be upset about something that funny? That might be the funniest thing I've seen all year. And I've seen a lot of funny shit, like our president going into office and doing what he's done. It's hilarious. But I'm glad we still have people like that. That actually makes me think about something it's not at all related to that, but I did have one more thing I wanted to talk about, and that was the Steward Observatory at U of A. I want to get the story up real quick. Okay, so let's listen to this for a second. Since I went to U of A, I graduated at U of A, and so I'm kind of involved with what they're doing. I'm interested in what they're doing, and I've always celebrated U of A having one of the most advanced programs when it comes to astronomy and cosmology. So studying space and if it's even real. And I guess it turns out that the telescope at U of A, the Steward Observatory telescope they have, is actually owned by the Vatican. And this is weird because the Vatican calls it Lucifer. And so if we pull this story up, you can go read this story at answersingenesis.com.org. Just look up Lucifer Telescope Steward Observatory. You'll find it. It's the first one. And it says, does the Vatican have a telescope called Lucifer? So from time to time, here at Answers in Genesis, we get inquiries about a telescope called Lucifer that the Vatican supposedly owns. The story has been circulating around the internet for nearly a decade. It certainly sounds shocking, so it's no wonder why people ask us about this. Is there any truth to this rumor? Okay, if they start going that it's not real, I'm going to go to another story because it's definitely real. And go listen to the Deep Waters podcast. What is it? Conspiracy Social Club, aka Deep Waters podcast. Sam Tripoli and Dylan, I forgot his last name, but they go over it in detail if you don't believe me. But this story goes on. Vatican telescope in Arizona? ? Many people are surprised to learn that the Vatican even has an observatory. The history of the Vatican Observatory goes back 2.5 centuries. During its history, there has been some turmoil and several moves to escape the light and other hindrances that large cities, such as Rome, pose to doing astronomy. Therefore, more than a half a century ago, the Vatican Observatory established a research group at the Steward Observatory of the University of Arizona in Tucson, while the Vatican Observatory's headquarters remained in Italy. So, it is. Vatican astronomers used some of the facilities of Steward Observatory, but in 1993, the 1.8 meter Vatican Advanced Technology Telescope, VAT, opened on Mount Graham in southeast Arizona. The same year, Steward Observatory's Heinrich Hertz's Sub-Millimeter Telescope, SMT, also opened on Mount Graham. A little more than a decade later, the Large Binocular Telescope, LBT, opened on Mount Graham. With twin 8.4 meter mirrors, the LBT is one of the largest optical telescopes in the world. The LBT is owned and operated by a consortium of institutions in the United States and from around the world. Collectively, the three facilities atop Mount Graham, VAT, SMT, and LBT, comprise the Mount Graham International Observatory, MGIO. All right, so what's in the name? Astronomers mount various instruments on telescopes for research. They usually come up with catchy and often humorous names for these instruments. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, sinister sense of humor. Let's listen to this. While this cute moniker wasn't official, others have been. An example is a very complex, useful instrument designed for the LBT. At its inception, the system was called Large Binocular Telescope Near Infrared Spectroscopic Utility with Camera and Integral Field Unit for Extragalactic Research, Lucifer. The full title was descriptive of what the instrument was to do, but it was a mouthful. And notice that they had to play games with the acronym to get it to spell out anything memorable. I'm sure that the astronomers who came up with this one were amused. All right. So, I mean, in the last part of this article says Lucy in the sky. However, the amusement didn't last long, for as word of it spread, many critics of the Roman Catholic Church made the connection with the Lucifer instrument for the LBT sharing a mountain with the VAT, which very quickly but incorrectly morphed into the Vatican owning a telescope called Lucifer. So are they going to fucking debunk this? All right. The firestorm that ensued probably was responsible for renaming the instrument Lucy in 2012. Even weirder. That's weird. Calling it Lucy is not any better. But 6 years before Lucy was completed and went into service, such a complex instrument can require years of planning and development. Note that Lucy is not a telescope, but rather an instrument that attaches to a telescope. Also notice that the Lucy instrument attaches only to the LBT, not the VAT. They may be at the same observatory, MGIO, but they are separate telescopes, owners, collaborators, and systems. Okay, so I don't know. They're trying to debunk it there, but it is weird that the Vatican owns a fucking telescope at the Steward Observatory in Tucson, Arizona, at the U of A, that had the acronym Lucifer. And then when critics started talking out about it, they changed it to Lucy. And when you think about that, just think about what a telescope does, right? It looks up into the heavens, right? Essentially, what we call the heavens, the sky. And you're going to go and name it fucking Lucifer? It's a little fucking weird if you ask me. But you guys can do your own research, right? It's probably the last thing I'm going to bring up. I mean, I'm only about 30 minutes away from it. I should probably go fucking ask some questions, right? Should probably walk up in that bitch and say, hey, yo, Lucifer here? Trying to see some stars, dog. Trying to see some planets, dog. Let me use the Lucifer. Let me use Lucy. So, a weird story altogether. I think that's it, honestly. I can do a little doom scrolling on X and see if we can find anything fun. I just think that Alex Stein clip is the funniest thing I've seen in a while. This comes from Dom Lucre. Breaking: UCLA is under fire after their professors allowed their valedictorian to shout "fuck ICE" and "fuck Trump" Oh, and fuck the Trump administration while nodding their heads to her words. So let's listen.
Excuse my language, but to that I say fuck ICE and fuck the Trump administration.
This country's a joke right now. Fuck ICE and fuck the Trump administration. Also, UCLA is gay as well, so UCL gay. That's hilarious. But honestly, I'm with her. Fuck ICE and fuck the Trump administration. Remember mass deportations? Those aren't happening anymore. They haven't published a fucking number in 6 months. They can eat our ass. All right, what else we got? We got Candace Owens. All right, here's some more shit on Emmanuel Macron. I cannot believe my eyes. This is a literal head of state hiring investigators to look into a mother who podcasts from her basement. At Emmanuel Macron, your wife absolutely must check into rehab. Macron, so this comes from the Financial Times she's talking about. And it says, as the title of the article, Macron's hired investigators to research U.S. influencer Candace Owens. Huh. Well, maybe she just show us your dick or show us your pussy, Brigitte. That's all we want. Brigitte, all we ask is you pull down your pants and show us your gash in the middle of your legs that represents a woman's pussy, and we'll shut the fuck up. Until then, you have a dick, or you were born a male, and that's what I'm going with. What else? Here, this comes from Colin Rugg, new. Chinese Coast Guard ship crashes into a Chinese Navy destroyer as the two ships were both chasing a Philippine Coast Guard ship in the South China Sea. Philippine patrol boats were escorting dozens of fishing boats when Chinese ships tried to intimidate them by blocking them and firing a water cannon, according to the WAPO. Philippine Coast Guard spokesperson Jay Torella said the Chinese Coast Guard ship performed a risky maneuver during the chase, leaving it unseaworthy after the collision. Okay, don't really care about that. Nice. What does this say? Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott has reduced his city's homicide rate by 62%. It hasn't been this low since 1978. Good job, Brandon Scott. Shout you out. And he's black. Maybe, I hate to say this. I hate to insinuate anything. But maybe it's reduced by 62% because a black mayor is not arresting black people for crimes they commit. Sorry about that statement, but that's probably true. Anything else we got? Here's Trump. Honestly, here's another clip about Baltimore, which Trump mentions NYC, Baltimore, and Oakland. It says they're so far gone and adds, this will go further. We're starting very strongly with DC. Okay. I don't know what that means. Let's see. Computers at 6%. We can go a little bit longer. Let's doom scroll. All right, this comes from Wall Street Apes. U.S. health insurance companies are now charging 2 visits if you take your child in for their regular checkup and ask a question not covered during a routine checkup. This isn't a conspiracy. This happened to this woman not once, but twice, and 2 of her friends. So this is the quote from the woman. So I call, and they're like, oh, yeah, you technically were billed for 2 visits. And I was like, excuse me? She's like, yeah, it says on here that there was a question asked that didn't involve the physical. I was blown away. I was so perturbed. I was like, that's absolutely ridiculous. So yesterday when I took my other son, the guy's going through all the sign here, sign there, then gets to the last one, and then it says, do you give permission to be billed if services aren't covered today? And I said, I don't want to sign this because how do I know what will be covered, what won't? He's like, oh, that will be determined by your insurance. So another lady comes over and she goes, well, if they ask you if you have any concerns, you have to say no. And I go, okay, but if I have concerns for my son, that's technically a second visit because it's not covered under his yearly checkup. She goes, yeah. Mind blown. Like, I don't know what this world has come to, but I am just insanely crazy about this kind of stuff. And just recently, I've had 2 friends post about the same exact situation. So that's a little weird, right? So U.S. insurance companies are now going to charge you for 2 visits if you ask a question regarding your child's health that wasn't initially covered from the first physical checkup. That's fucked up. But what does this world come to? You give them inches, they take miles, right? They'll take fucking more than miles, though. But we are coming down to it, and that's going to be it for today. I'll see you motherfuckers next Monday. Peace.
Adrenochrome.
Adrenochrome?